It's great to see you back again and that you've remained disciplined with your functional flexibility training. Let's continue training to get strong at our maximum range of motion by starting session number 4 of our 10-week journey to strong side splits. Well, it's so good to have you back for this new week and this new session of training. Let's start the session with our warm-up, 30 squats in 1 minute to warm up our quads and glutes. And as you've heard me say so many times now, just take it easy when you start a warm-up. It's not a race. The only thing you really need to get done is the 30 reps in 60 seconds. And of course, getting it all done with great technique. And that means that as you squat down, you really need to stick your butt out so your knees stay behind your toes. I find that if I don't follow that technique, then I really strain my knees. Yeah, it can get really painful, so be careful of that. The other thing you want to be careful of is your breathing. So as you work through these squats, you're naturally going to raise your heart rate and breathing. So if you can breathe in when you go down and breathe out as you go up, that's going to help you not to get out of breath too early in the session. Okay, next up we're doing 30 ham spines. Target muscles here are our hamstrings and spinal erectors. You really want to start very light with these, especially because you've only completed one warm-up exercise so far. One thing that can really help with good pacing, so that you're not working too light and so that you're definitely not pushing yourself too hard, is to have intentional breathing. And that just means that you're controlling your breathing. So here for this warm-up exercise, it's best to breathe in as you go down and then breathe out as you lift up. So that way you're breathing out as your target muscles contract, as your hamstrings contract. Hopefully that helps you feel better as you work. If you feel comfortable and ready for it, you can start to increase your range of motion just a little bit. You can start to get yourself down lower. Just make sure your back is still straight. That's really important. Keep your chin up, look straight ahead, and keep your shoulders back. That's going to help you keep your back safe. And just as important, it's going to help you focus the work on your target muscles, your hamstrings. Okay, keep it up. We've got a little bit more to go, so just make sure you're on target to finish all 30 reps before the next warm-up exercise. The next warm-up exercise is elbows, knees with 30 reps, and our target muscles are our adductors again. Set your feet out wide, well past your shoulders, and then squat down so your elbows are resting and pushing against your knees. Then you need to pull your knees in against your elbows by contracting your adductors, your target muscles. Then stretch your adductors out and repeat. Between contractions, see if you can stretch your adductors out a little wider each time, but only if it feels safe and comfortable, okay? Pull your knees in, then relax and stretch them out. Knees in, then stretch them out. Time for our set of warm-up side squats, and we're doing 15 on both sides. The target muscles here are the adductor group, especially the gracilis. Now, as I've been pointing out, everyone's going to get this exercise to work in slightly different ways, but you're still going to need to keep one leg extended out to the side as you squat down on the other leg. If it helps, try to lean forward just a little bit so that the stretch stays on your adductors more than your hamstrings. And as you work through the reps, I really encourage you to take it easy and keep in mind that this is just a warm-up. And like I said before, in a normal warm-up, you can really increase your intensity, but the difference here is that we're working at extreme ranges of motion, pretty much your maximum range of motion. And if you're not careful, you could injure yourself, so just take care. So while it might sound like I'm always overemphasizing caution, I'd rather do that than push you into an injury. I really want to see you, well, not only complete this program, but complete this program and achieve awesome flexibility. If you're not careful during these beginner sessions, if you get injured, then it's going to be really hard for you to get strong side splits. Anyway, practice the best technique that you can and get a feel for what works best for your body. The next warm-up exercise is front leg ups, and our target muscles are primarily our hamstrings and partly our hip flexors. We've got 20 reps for each leg and a minute and a half to get them both done. Now, as I really emphasized over the last week, as we do these, try your best to lift your leg with a controlled movement as opposed to a swing. And to make sure you're lifting your leg and not swinging your leg, try to use your hip flexors to do the work. Your quads are going to keep your legs straight, but your hip flexors will really do the lifting. Just remember that we're still warming up, so there's really no need to smash yourself. Control the leg raise so you're just getting a light to moderate stretch. You can take it further later when you've really adapted to the program. And change over when you've hit 20 reps on one leg and begin the same work on your other leg. Another thing you need to be careful of is that you don't bend your back by leaning forward. If you really need to lean, then lean back a little bit. Of course, you'll need to adjust your posture for your balance, but still do your best to keep the stretching stress on your hamstrings by trying to keep your back straight. And now for our final warm-up exercise, side leg raises. The target muscle here are the hip adductors on the inside of your legs again, and we're going for 20 reps on each leg. And just the same as for the front leg ups, we've got a minute 30 to complete the exercise, so give yourself about 45 seconds for each leg. The principle for side leg ups is very similar to front leg ups. That is, you really want to work at raising your leg with a controlled movement rather than making it swing around. A helpful way to do that is to think about engaging your hip abductors, the muscles on the outside of your legs. Engage them to lift the leg rather than using your body to swing the leg. Okay, if you've got your 20 reps done, then it's time to change and do the same for your other leg. The second tip for these is that you need to try your best to lift your leg straight out to the side. So you can pretty much make a straight line from your head through your shoulders and hips to your heel. If you can imagine seeing yourself from a high top view, you'd see a straight line, not a bent V kind of line, which you'd have if you were leaning over your chest, if you're leaning over your front. Okay, so lift your leg with control, don't swing it around, and when you lift it along a straight line. Okay, we've almost completed the warm-up. Great work so far. We've got our actual stretching exercises coming up now, and with this new week, we're going to modify some of the exercises from last week. We have full side splits first, and that remains unchanged, especially the key technique, which is to stretch our target muscles to their maximum range of motion, and then contract our target muscles at their maximum range of motion. Okay, so as always, stretch, and then contract. And it's 13 reps for all of the exercises in this session. Do remember that our target muscles here are the adductor group, and because this is just the start of our second week, it's still a good idea to take care with this, and as much as you need to, really support yourself with your hands. Listen to your body and just take yourself into a light stretch if that feels best. Right, so when you're in position, take some of your weight from your hands and start to shift that weight to your legs. With your feet out wide, you should definitely feel a stretch in your adductors on the inside of your legs. And now that you're in the stretch, do your best here to contract your adductors, even if the contraction is only brief and even if the contractions are only very light. That's totally fine. Next, we're modifying our standing adductor stretch into a kneeling adductor stretch. So it's exactly the same thing, only that this time you're resting your rear knee on the ground. Nice and easy. But with this modification, you'll be able to really increase the stretching load without putting lateral stress on your rear knee. Okay, so with this new stretch or this modified stretch, we'll make further progress in our strength and flexibility. The target muscle is still our adductor group again, the same as before. And we're going for just 13 reps. Step forward into a long lunge, then simply kneel down with your rear knee resting on the mat. Turn your rear knee out a little bit if that helps you stretch your adductors, and ease your hips forward so you can extend the stretch. You'll need to adjust your position however it works best for you, and when you achieve the stretch, contract the adductors of your rear leg, okay? So stretch them out, then contract. You can do that either by trying to pull your knee forward against the mat, or by lifting your knee and then pulling it towards your hips. Try either option and find out what works best for you. Now for the next exercise, you might need to pause the video for just a moment because you'll need to get a stool or a chair or some item that you can safely rest your extended leg on. Now, I've got a small stool on the screen there, and I like it because it gets my leg up to about my knee height. Find something that helps you get your leg up to a height that almost gives you a light stretch in your hamstrings. When you've got your stool or chair, place your heel onto it with a straight leg and then lean forward with a straight back until you feel a stretch in your hamstrings. From there, in your stretch, you just need to contract your hamstrings by pushing your heel down through the seat. Count off 13 reps and then change over to your next leg. Keep working through your reps, stretch out the target muscle, then contract the target muscle in the stretch. Contract it while it's stretched out. Stretch, contract. When you finish them, move into position for your next exercise, which is our standard side squats. Okay, side squats, and just the same as last week, the target muscle that we're trying to stretch and contract here is our adductor group, and we have 13 reps for each leg. Just remember that when you squat down on one side from the bottom of the squat, make sure you do your best to make your adductors contract when your quads push you out of the squat. So yeah, your quads are going to do a lot of the work in this exercise, but try to make your adductors work with them, even if it's just a bit. If it helps, try pushing your extended heel down through the floor in the lift phase. If that's a bit difficult for now, don't worry because, like I said before, whether you know it or not, you're still working your adductors and training them to be strong at their max ROM. If you want more of a stretch in your adductors, try leaning forward a bit or placing your feet further apart and squatting down lower. And when all of that's done, you can start to position yourself for the next exercise. Okay, you've got 45 seconds for 13 reps in the seated adductor stretch. Obviously, the target muscles are your adductors, so when you're comfortable, lower your knees to stretch out your adductors and then lift your knees against your elbows. So take your adductors into a stretch, then contract them against your elbows. Stretch, contract, stretch, contract. If you want more of a stretch, you can sit up straight and tall without using your elbows in the contract phase, or you can just lie all the way back completely. Your adductors will still have some contraction work in these positions, and you'll be able to take the stretch out a bit further. Okay, we're about to finish the first cycle of exercises, and when we do that, we're going to repeat the exercises with another 2 cycles, starting with the full side splits. Make sure you position safely, and I'll count you through your 13 at my rate. Okay, that's 1, and 2, 3, 4, remember 13 reps, 5, 6, focus on technique, 7, 8, and 9, 10, 11, 12, last one, and 13. Excellent, that's really great work. When you're ready, let's ease out of our splits and move into the next exercise, the kneeling adductor stretch. Okay, let's carefully kneel into position, and when you're ready, let's do our 13 reps. Okay, that's 1, and 2, 3, keep that stretch, 4, 5, 6, 7, contract the stretch, 8, 9, back straight, 10, 11, 12, almost done, and 13. Good job with that leg. Let's change it over and work the other leg now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep that posture really good. 10, 11, 12, one more, and 13. Well done with your kneeling adductor stretch. Next up we have our elevated hamstring stretch, and you'll need to grab your seat for that. We have 13 reps for both legs, so let's get them done. And 1, 2, 3. Keep your toes up. 4, 5, 6, 7. Straight back. 8, 9, 10. Push your heel down. 11, 12, and 13. Excellent. Let's change it over and start the other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you contract the hamstrings. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Excellent. Let's start to move into the next exercise, our side squats. Okay, 13 side squats on both sides. Let's go. That's 1. And 1, 2, and 2. Careful with your balance. 3, and 3, 4, 4. Stretch your adductors. 5, 5, 6, and 6. Contract your adductors. 7, 7, 8, and 8. Take it a bit wider if you can. 9, and 9, and a bit further if you can. 10, and 10. 11, 11, 12, almost done. 12, last one. 13, and 13. And great, one more exercise for this cycle, seated adductor stretch. So let's move straight into them. Okay, when you're comfortable and you've taken your adductors into a stretch, let's start our 13 reps. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start to take it further if you can. 6, 7, 8. Contract that stretch. 9, 10, 11, 12. Last one. And 13. Great, well done. There's just one more cycle to go now. You're almost there. Just another 13 reps for each exercise. Let's finish off our final set of full splits, 13 reps for our adductors. When you're ready, that's 1, and 2, 3, 4, contract from the stretch. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Excellent, that's another set done. So when you're ready and comfortable, let's carefully move out of our splits and into the next exercise, the kneeling adductor stretch. Let's do our kneeling adductor stretch. We've got 13 reps on both sides in 1 minute 10. Take care as you comfortably move into position, and really do make sure you're comfortable, and then let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Great job with that leg. Let's change it over again and finish off the other leg now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that good posture. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, almost done, 12, and 13. And that was the last adductor stretch for this session. Next up, we've got our elevated hamstring stretch, and just make sure you've got your seat for that. Okay, we've got 1:10 to complete 13 reps on both sides for our elevated hamstrings. Once you're in position, let's go. That's 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keep those toes up, 7, 8, keep your back straight too, 9, 10, 11, 12, one more, and 13. Okay, that was great. Just remember to stretch and contract for each rep as we finish the other leg now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, last one, and 13. Excellent. That's all we have for elevated hamstrings now. So let's start to move into our next exercise, our final set of side squats. And we have 13 reps on both sides for our adductors. That's 1. And 1, 2, and 2. Make them full range. 3, and 3, 4, and 4. Still take care with your balance. 5, and 5. Stretch your adductors. 6, and 6. 7, and 7. Start to increase the range if you can. 8, and 8. 9, 9, 10, and 10. 11, and 11. We're almost there. 12, and 12. 1 on each side to go. 13, and 13. And great, that's it for side squats for this cycle and for this session. We've got one last exercise to go, the seated adductor stretch, so let's get it done. When you're comfortable and ready, let's get our 13 reps done. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, start to take it further if you can, 5, 6, 7, make sure you're contracting in the stretch, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2 to go, 12, and 13. Okay, that's session number 4 of 30 done, and great work for making it through. I hope you're feeling great. Now I've got another really important tip to help you with your training, and this one's in regards to extra training, which I kind of began to address in the introduction video, the 5th introduction video actually, if you want to go back and check it out. It's where I outlined the importance of rest. So with extra training, that's if you do martial arts or yoga, gymnastics, strength training, dance, things like that. you might want to know where or when you can fit all of this training, both your regular training and this specific flexibility training, how you can fit it all into your schedule. So if you sequence your training logically and you take my relentless advice to ease into this program, then it makes sense that you can really fit these strong flexibility sessions in pretty much anywhere. And you know it. You have to know it after completing the first session, right? It was easy, just 10 reps of everything. And I purposefully designed it to be easy. I designed the entire first week to be easy for you so that you can progressively work up to the necessary workload that you'll use to achieve strong side splits. But yeah, the point is that the program is starting off very, very easy. And if you took my advice to work kind of light through the first week, you really won't have done any kind of damage that would affect any other training. And if you gradually increase the intensity of your flexibility training, then you'll be able to continue working this program into any other training. You'll progressively and gradually adapt to the increasing demands of the program over time, and it'll work fine with whatever else you do. Just be intelligent about it, take it easy, and give your body the time it needs to adapt to these new demands. So with that, as usual, let me know in the comments how you went in today's session and if you have any questions. I always do my best to write back because I really want to do whatever I can to encourage you to complete this program. And also, if you want to work on more than strong side splits, make sure you subscribe to this channel and check out the other 10,000 method progressive training videos. And then when you come back in 2 days' time to follow the next new video in the series, we'll add one more rep to each exercise and continue training for strong side splits. I'm really looking forward to having you back then.